Okie dokie. It's your boy Super Revolution here. Um, like this video, comment it here, and subscribe in that button here down here. So yeah. So I think last month, the end of last month, I covered the CM Punk Elite drama, which go back and watch it for yourselves. So that happened, the incident with Punk the Elite. It's been almost like 6-7 weeks of this, and it's kind of died down, but now we're getting to see like more information out of it. And remember what I said at the end of that vid last month when I talked about the simple needs or what will happen after. And I said they may potentially buy out Punk's contract just to pay him, just not doing that thing, and then just be done with it. So yeah, so that so I said that, and there seem to be a lot more reports coming out of it that AEW are in fact in talks about buying out CM Punk's contract. I'm gonna read it for yourself here. This is from the, I think they Meltzer said it for like when he talked about. He talks about those with close knowledge of the situation. I said they are in talks with Punk about buying out the remaining years of his contract with Telstra. They are not looking to bring him back. PW Torch was the first one that reported. Was the first one that said it. Also, the report said from Meltzer again. The hold up now is the non-compete clause, because since if there's not complete, that will be about that will mean WWE could have an interest of him, as they won't have like a need adjuster clause like that, as like, yeah, there's no other promotion that will be able to pay him, that will able to pay him the same way as AEW or potentially WWE. And that's gonna, if you read the title, that's what I'm going to talk about. It's that CM Punk and the whole WWE new rumors, which I'm gonna get into this since people are talking about it. So like there's been a lot of speculation about Houston, like since AEW wants like a non-complete run on this buyout, since they think WWE could have an interest in bringing that guy back as he, I don't think he won't go through any other promotion. Like, what do you think he's gonna go through Impact, or I don't know, like I don't know, MLW or NWA. I know. There's only two ways he's gonna go: either AEW, WWE, and even that one is looking not likely, with more reports coming out, and Westovos said it on, I think on Wednesday. He said that shortly after Triple H took over July, he was told that Triple H wanted nothing to do with Punk, but that seemed to be changed with Triple H's stance up, as his stance on Triple H has softened a little bit. He said like, I did ask over the last couple of days. He has softened a little bit from what I understand. I still think there's some animosity There's a lot of pieces that need to be picked up between the two of them specifically. But how they learn from it and miss main events with almost everybody. And first of all, also that the door is not completely closed on CM Punk returning to WWE, which that sparked speculations and riled up all week. Okay, so yeah, so let's talk about everything between, just to get up to speed of what happened, and then we will talk about the Punk returning to WWE rumors. Um, um, Look, about AEW buying up CM Punk's contract. Sorry for the sun. It's very sunny today, so sorry for that. But about AEW talking buy up Punk's contract and letting him go, like they almost have to, like. And I still stand what I said. Like, what Punk did at the All Out Media Scrum was a disgrace. And a disgrace to Tony Khan for allowing that shit go down under his watch. And a disgrace to the locker room that probably welcomed him with open arms at first, and then talking shit about all of them. And I still stand why I was mad, because like here he had everything he needed. Tony Khan wanted him for AEW for years. Then he finally got him and gave him everything he needed, including 2 fucking world title reigns. And he comes out in a media scrum. Yeah, I know he was pissed at leave. And then he was, well, I do agree, he said he's kind of working with children, but he was kind of acting like the children one himself. Like I was so mad at him because he had everything he could ever ask for him in AEW, and comes out here at a media scrum and talks that with the owner of the fucking company alongside with him, and talking shit about half his roster publicly. Like, that shit got me so. I was like, why the fuck would you do that, Punk? Why the fuck would you do that, Phil? Like, you already heard. You should be rest up, and then I don't think you should even have buy it to the media scrum, as far as I'm concerned. Like, Tony Khan what Tony Khan should have done, honestly, what Tony Khan should have done is told Punk not to go there and just rest up, because he should have known he was kind of lipping, so he should have told Punk to go to his locker and rest up. Like, the guy was hurt, and that's why they had to take out the whole time after the second time again. So yeah, like, and more, I think with more posts coming out with about the investigation with Pawn Star Larry, from CM Punk's camp, talking about how he was injured, they kicked him out, he was kicked off the door and was hurt, which I kind of knew that was so bullshit. And mostly all the wrestling reports now are saying as such as that. As I didn't believe for a second that story about Punk's Larry dog. Then wasn't there reports that Kenny Omega tried to save Punk Star Larry in the fight? Weren't that rumors kind of one of those the first initial report when it comes to the backstage fight between Punk and the Elite? Wasn't all that was said about that in those first initial reports a month ago? So tried to tell me, expecting me to believe that report, that thing about Punk's Larry getting hurt and getting hit in the door. Like, yeah, hard fun to get me to convince some such as that. So yeah, and it's looking very likely Punk will not be back in AEW, and with all the locker room, like with all the locker room feelings towards him, like it's looking very obvious, like he's probably not gonna be back. And with new reports about the Elite already being bad backstage, I highly doubt they're gonna want to come back to AEW if Punk is still there. If Punk's still there, the boss will not be in. So if they're thinking about buying out Punk and the boss are being bad, so that pretty much tells you that Simple will not be coming back to AEW. Which leads to WWE, and Triple H stands on him starting it off. Like, here's even the thing. Like, if you ask me, like, will CM Punk come back? There's not a doubt on my mind he will. And, like, the ultimate indignity of Punk is to him be back in WWE, because after all the shit he has talked about them, about WWE, and specifically towards Triple H, he has said it many times. I don't know how many times, but he has said it firsthand before. Honda never liked Punk, and Punk never liked Honda. They never worked well backstage. His words, like, it's never goodbye between both of them. After all the shit he has talked about, his scene with Triple H and him hating WWE, that will be the only indictment of him. For him to say all that, and all this years later, he will come back to that same company that he supposedly hates, and to the same guy who is running creative right now that he supposedly hates. He will come back to him. Like, that will be the highest of hypocritical person that he is if he were to go back after all the shit he has said towards them publicly. And here's the thing, like, there's not a doubt in my mind, like, if you said to me, will Punk come back? Absolutely. Absolutely. If Triple H has the right mind, if Triple H feels a certain way that it will be compelling television for Punk to come back, then he will bring Punk back. So, yeah. And like, yeah, like, of course, Punk, there's a possibility of that. I don't think that's even a question. The question is, should he come back? Is it worth it to have him come back? Because they still say this. By the way, they still in the report for Festival about Punk coming back, where he said there's still animosity, there's still a lot of pieces that need to be picked up between the two of them. Talking about CM Punk, Triple H. Like, the key word is that. And like, who's to say Punk wouldn't do the same thing to Tony Khan? Who's to say that Punk won't do the same thing to Triple H that he did to Tony Khan? Like, who's to say that? And also, who's to say that also the locker room won't come back with open arms? Like, I think there's people like Kevin Owens and AJ Styles that don't pretty like the guy genuinely. So, and after that, and like, with all that baggage that he covered, with that backstage fight with the Elite, and him causing this way in that locker room, pulling a black hole in that on that company with that backstage fight, and like, if he's not worth the headache that it may cause, then why the fuck should he come back? After all the things he said about them, like, who's to say he won't do the same thing to Hunter that he did do to Tony? Who's to say that he won't do that again? And when him getting injured, stuff like, is he healthy enough to even compete in the ring again? You also gotta mind that he had 2 World title reigns and got hurt both of those reigns and had to be. Well, the first one was the inner thing, and the second one had to be hurt, so they had to vacate the championship completely. So yeah, so I don't think it's kind of even worth it if Punk even comes back. Like, what? And here's what made, and this is kind of how I'm making this video, by the way, because it's like, as much as I would like to him coming back, as much I would like to him getting that final closure on his fans that have been wanting for him, that has been asking for him to come back after 7 years. As much I would like him to give that closure to him and to his wrestling career, specifically to WWE, if he came back. But it's like, if he hasn't made a mess with Triple H, with the locker room, with the company, with the wrestler, if he hasn't made any amends with that, like, Punk should only and only come back if he truly makes amends with Triple H and the locker room. That's the only way I will accept with him coming back. So yeah. So that's my kind of stance on it. Like, if he has to make a man, and if he isn't the worth the headache that it may cause, then why should he come back to WWE? So yeah, that's my stance on it. So yeah, like this video, subscribe in the button here. Tell me if you think CM Punk should come back in the comment section below. And as always, I'm Jason Maenius, and I approve this message.